In this edition of Check It Out, a milestone in space exploration, China successfully launches the Chang'e 5 lunar probe tasked with bringing moon rocks and soil samples back to Earth. We see what makes this mission so special. Scientists find an ancient fossil galaxy buried deep in the Milky Way, left over from the early universe. And tiny particles of plastic pollution are found in snow samples collected from Mount Chang'e, the world's highest peak.
In 1978, visiting U.S. National Security Advisor Zbigniew Brzezinski presented China a goodwill gift, 1 gram of Apollo 17's moon rock. Half of the historic sample was given to a team led by Chinese scientist Ouyang Ziyuan. This tiny flake of lunar material inspired him, and in the following years, he proposed the Chang'e project, China's lunar exploration program.
If everything goes well, in a month's time, we're going to have some new moon rocks collected by the Chang'e 5 probe.
It will add to the 382 kilograms of samples that U.S. and Soviet space missions brought back 48 years ago.
Chang'e 5 has been the most complex space mission undertaken by China so far. It is composed of 4 parts: the orbiter, lander, a sander, and Earth re-entry module. The lander and the sander form the combination that will touch down on the lunar surface to collect samples.
It will collect 2 kilograms of lunar sample, shoveling some surface material and also drilling a 2-meter deep hole and extracting the soil from inside it, which will act like an archive of the moon, with the bottom recording information from 1 billion years ago and the top more closely reflecting the present day.
The work will be completed within 1 lunar day or 14 days on Earth, so that a probe can avoid extreme overnight temperatures that could damage the robot. Once the samples are secured, the ascender will blast off to transfer the moon samples to the re-entering capsule waiting in lunar orbit, which will then carry them back to Earth. In previous missions, the ascender would make the journey all the way back itself, but this innovation allows it to save fuel and gives it space to carry more samples. Well, 2 kilograms of lunar soil can fill 2 coffee jars like this. So why is it useful to collect all this dust and debris? First, it can help us better determine the age of the moon and other planets based on a method called crater counting. Yes, you're right. Just count how many craters of various sizes or help scientists to estimate how old a planet's surface is.
This method can work based on the assumption that a newer surface should have fewer impact craters, while more heavily cratered terrain would generally be older.
But you may notice the weakness here. Counting craters simply allows us to calculate relative ages. For example, we can figure out that the heavily cratered lunar highlands are older than a dark lava plains, but scientists can measure the actual age in years.
And that's why we need lunar samples, because they can be precisely dated back on Earth using radiometric technology, so that we can use the date of samples to calibrate the results from crater counting. But so far, all the samples brought back by the Lunar and Apollo missions come from regions up to 3 billion years old. But we don't have any benchmark from more recent periods, and that gap could be filled by Chang'e 5 new samples, because it will touch down in the northern part of the Oceanus Procellarum, the vast lava plains that are believed to be as young as only 1 billion years old. In addition to that, we should be able to better understand the moon's volcanic activity. Previous samples suggest it stopped around 3 billion years ago, but Chang'e 5 sample, which may contain volcanic lava formed just 1 billion years ago, could reveal that the moon was still active for a longer time than expected. Further, scientists hope the samples will tell us what fueled this thermal activity for so long.
Lunar soil also hosts the secret of the sun. Unlike Earth with its magnetic fields as protective shield, The moon has been exposed to the bombardment of solar wind, so particles injected from the sun throughout different time periods will be buried in the different layers of lunar soil. That will give us the chance to learn about the changes to the sun through its history. And don't forget, our research on lunar samples today will be fundamental for the potential lunar base in the future. For example, we have already found lunar soil and rocks contain hydrogen, which is left behind on the surface by the solar wind, and also a type of mineral called ilmenite. If you put those two things together to react, you can produce water. So we're one step closer to being able to function in space without needing basic resources from Earth.
Welcome to Science Saturday. I'm Kasturi Manikam. Today we look at science news ranging from an ocean mapping satellite to new findings in Pompeii. First, astronomers have found a fossil galaxy hiding inside the Milky Way. Called Hercules, the dead galaxy is left over from the early universe, and it's believed to have collided with the Milky Way around 10 billion years ago. Researchers say the remnants account for almost half the mass of the entire Milky Way halo, which is made up of star clusters, gases, and dust. They say this new discovery could change humanity's understanding of our universe, as well as the formation of the Milky Way. A satellite critical to the understanding of climate change has blasted from California. Sentinel-6 took off from the Vandenberg base on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. The satellite is roughly the size of a small pickup truck and was built by Airbus in Germany at a cost of nearly $100 million. It's the first of a pair of identical ocean mapping satellites. The other, Sentinel-6B, is expected to launch in 2025. Together, they will carry on NASA's 3-decade-long effort to document rising sea levels and will give scientists a more precise view of the coastlines. The bodies of a rich man and his slave, who lived nearly 2,000 years ago, have been found in the ancient Roman city of Pompeii. They were burnt to death by the volcanic eruption that destroyed the city in 79 AD. The wealthy man, with traces of a woolen cloak, was between 30 and 40, while his slave in simple attire was probably aged 18 to 23. They were believed to be sheltering in a side room along an underground corridor, but failed to escape the volcanic blast. Microplastics have been found on the world's highest peak, Mount Komalangma. It's believed to be left from the equipment used by the hundreds of climbers who visit the peak every year. The tiny pollutants were found as high as 8,440 meters above sea level. Items carried by trekkers and climbers like fluorescent tents, discarded climbing equipment, and empty gas canisters are often the cause of plastic pollution, causing a potential threat to the mountains.
Well, that's all for today. If you have any comments, please let us know and stay in touch with us on our website and social media platform. This is CGTN's Check It Out. See you next time.